Bo?
Yeah.
Let's make history. Hello, welcome. It's HardLore time. How are you, Bo?
I'm so good.
Me too. Ask me the question.
Who do we got today?
Yes. I'll tell you who we got today. First ever Grammy winner on HardLore. Can you believe it?
No, actually. That's crazy.
Neither can I. Grammy winning engineer, producer, Fit For An Autopsy, Better Lovers, and friend of the show, the godfather of modern metalcore, I call him. The blacksmith of modern metalcore. He's at the smelting pot, forging iron.
Yeah.
Will Putney.
What's up, boys? Thanks for having me.
Oh my
Hello,
God!
sir.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Great intro. What a fucking intro. Puffed up, ready to go for this now.
Pump that chest for me. Yeah, I want you to.
Just a
Yeah.
little- You're the chest guy, dude.
Well,
I'm
no.
more of a hamstring guy.
Oh, okay. Calisthenics, leg calisthenics.
You can bust those out too if you
A lot
want.
of stretching.
A lot of standing.
Well,
Yeah.
where are you at right now? Are you at new studio or old studio?
I'm at new studio. Old studio is R.I.P.
It's
well, not technically not. Old studio is Steve Evans' studio now.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Cool. It's
Yeah.
cool that it
We had a
remained in a way.
From
Yeah, very
king to king.
Yeah.
I was very happy to see that stay alive with Steve. It was awesome. Good timing for both of us to make a move. So
Wow, that's
great.
awesome. Well, that's really cool, man. You're welcome. This is a long time coming. First thing I want to really talk about is just the sheer volume of work that you do. I was looking at your Discogs today.
Okay.
You tell me
Okay.
if this number sounds right. 436 credits. Does that sound right?
Jesus. I don't know. That's crazy. Yeah, that might be right, though. Yeah, I mean, we're busy. I'm not complaining. I mean, I am complaining, but this is like my dream job. Got the opportunity to do it, worked it up so I can get the chance to work with the type of bands I want to work with. So I'm going to do it. You know, I wasn't, I was never one to kind of sit on my ass. If cool shit came along and it was something I felt like I had to do, we just figured out a way to do it. So we've made a lot of records here.
Now, when you say got the opportunity to do it, how did you get the opportunity to do it?
I think it just came from 0 to 10, you know, like for me, I was lucky to get in working under a producer early. I worked with Machine, who at the time had just come off of Lamb of God, and he was like one of the dudes in this world for sure. And, you know, I was like his intern and sort of like got my chops up learning from him, and then started doing my own local bands, start writing my own records.
That's what I was going to ask. So were you already doing music prior to that? And you were like...
Were you playing in bands before you were recording them, basically?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I started playing in bands when I was like maybe 14.
Yeah.
We just hardcore bands around here and stuff, and I had always had a band and had always tried to do stuff in that world. I booked shows, I tried to run a record label, like I was involved in music, but it was always like it was always like a hobby, passionate thing that I would just do for fun. I was still going to school. I was actually in college taking music classes for fun, same kind of thing. And
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, so the career path was never this. It was like I'm studying to be an engineer and like taking science classes, and this was
like
like
an
never the game.
like chemicals
Yeah,
and shit.
Like math and shit.
Biomedical engineering was where I was. Yeah,
Boy.
it's a different. Funny how life works out.
Yeah.
But
You got the easier engineer job.
Yeah.
yeah, I was interested in studio stuff. I had made a couple records going, you know, with my bands, and I always thought it was fascinating. And yeah, I just didn't know it was like a career. To me, it was like
Like even an option.
yeah, it was like my bands suck. I'll starve to death if I try to pursue this. Like, so I guess I'll do science, and then this will just be for fun, you know. And then it like once I saw a door open where I was like, oh shit, I could actually. This guy makes a living off of making music that I like. Like, let me figure that out. Then I went hard that way.
Wow.
You know.
I do recall like early days, even with our bands, when you would go and demo something. It was just that like, oh, we could do it at my dad's house.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting to like. The first time you recorded yourself and heard it back like on a cassette. I mean, I don't know how old everyone is here, but on a cassette tape or something and played it back, and you're like, holy wow, I just did that. Like, I made a recording, you know.
It's like making fire,
cool.
like a caveman making fire.
I was always drawn to it, you know. So yeah, and then it became real. So I just went all in on it.
Are you from New Jersey?
I am from New Jersey. Yes.
Let me ask you this: as like I said, the master, the godfather of the modern metalcore sound, what is your core of choice as a listener, especially as a New Jerseyan?
My core of choice was, okay, so it's changed over time.
Sure.
But my entry to hardcore was E-Town Concrete, Fury of Five, Second to None, that era. Oh yeah, it's the sweet spot. There he is.
Now you're speaking to the heart, brother.
Yeah, so that was like years of my life was just like that New Jersey hardcore scene, late '90s. You know, turning into the world of like Shattered Realm around here.
Yes,
I played in a band called Nothing Left to Mourn, which had some of those guys in it. So that was like the world I was in. You know, I grew up on the like, you know, my like seminal records would be like All Out War, For Those Who Were Crucified, like that era of like the crossover stuff when that started to happen, and that was my shit.
I knew I liked you.
Yeah,
and now we got something special going on. You know?
Yeah, E-Town will always have a special place. For me.
That's fucking the Michael Jackson of New Jersey hardcore in a way. You know, in terms of sheer.
The Michael
wonder.
Jackson of hardcore.
You know.
I love it. Shout out to Ant Money. I don't know if he's a listener, but love the guy.
They're vaguely familiar. They'll be on the show soon. E-Town episode coming soon.
I love that.
They had a great quote when they won the Single of the Year award.
It was, "What do you want me to say?"
Love that.
So you said it evolved. What are you into now?
So I've over time that world changed a bit. You know, I think this is not a knock on younger bands, but the stuff that emulated that hard stuff over time became, I guess, because it was very real and very scary around here, and it kind of got less scary over the years. Then I got drawn to inherently darker music that just sounded scarier because like no shows weren't as scary, so I started to enjoy music that sounded scary.
Gotcha.
So sort of like the art, hardcore and power violence and like into the grind stuff, that sort of became like more of my sweet spot. But anything that was like stuff that kind of picked the pace a bit, like I'm a big Turmoil guy, like where I was like, okay, this is still hard, but it's like a bit more dissonant and
progressive,
sort of faster pace. Yeah, and now it's like I kind of like what I like everything now. I've definitely I've learned to let go of like feeling like I have to stay in a certain box with any kind of subgenre.
I imagine you have to as an engineer and producer.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was years of just like, give me the brutal shit. It's all I care about. And then I sort of, you know, I don't know when it flipped in life. Maybe I had a breakup or something. I got sad or something. You know, like I don't know where that flipped in my head, but I just started absorbing everything.
Well,
you know?
it's interesting. It's interesting to think that way too, because I would say your catalog is so associated with a certain style as opposed to an E-Town style or like anything that we've been talking about so far.
But it took a while to get there for sure, right?
Of course, but it's just like I'm sure people don't realize the background of Will Putney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the first record I made ever was this band Suffer the Living, which was half of the Shattered Realm dudes from Jersey. And then shortly after I made a Banner record, which was like that same series. This is like those are like the first records I made, you know.
Wow, okay.
And I was like dead set on doing a hardcore band like at the time, me and what the original version of Fit For An Autopsy was, we were trying to do a hardcore band in that world again. And we just happened upon a singer who leaned more into metal. We're like, oh, let's try to do a metal band. Maybe that'll be fun.
Have you had the same singer the whole time?
No, we've had the same singer for about 10 years.
Okay,
now,
yeah, I mean,
the original guy,
crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll love to hear that. He loves to hear. He's awesome. No, Joe's great. I love Joe. He's just a monster vocalist.
Yeah, he's got it. I see what you're doing there.
When did Fit start?
Fit started kind of about 2006, 2007.
Okay.
Like kind of off of that band, Nothing Left to Mourn, that we were in. And we were just, it kind of started around the same time I was making records. And even like our first demo is one of the first things actually made at the studio. You know, like Machine let me use the studio in downtime and actually cut the 4-song demo that started that band, you know.
Cool.
And was that, would you say the Fit For An Autopsy demo was one of the first things as an engineer where you were like, I think I'm pretty good at, I might be good at this.
I mean, I don't think any of that stuff is good per se, but I think sonically, I don't think any of it was good. But I think I was starting to understand how to make songs that affect people at that point. You know, I barely knew what I was doing. So to say that it would be awesome would be crazy. You know, but people probably liked the songs that were coming out of the studio more than the production for a while, and then I think it caught up to itself.
When do you think it caught up? What made it catch up?
I don't really know. I just kept doing it.
Was there a record that you heard that final mix and master of that you were like, this is, you know what? This is good.
I mean, I know early on I did American Violence, the Reign Supreme EP.
Oh, okay.
And that was like one of the first records kind of that was outside of, it was like not a New Jersey band. It was like one of the first records like kind of outside of like my local friends and space around here.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that the sticker,
like,
the sticker one?
Yeah, the sticker one.
Yeah, that one sounds awesome.
And that reacted good, and people were like, "Who did this? This sounds awesome." It was like one of the first times, at least in like this world, where I saw like, "Oh, people dig like the way this sounds, too, not just like what the band is." So that was a good early one for me, and I feel like that turned into
when was that?
A lot of stuff. Man, I don't even know.
Like
probably
2008,
2009, 2008. Yeah, somewhere.
It had to have
in
been 7 or 8
Yeah.
because I had the shirt in high school, and
makes sense.
So you know, it was a good shirt.
I think 2008. But yeah, that was an early like kind of win for me, and I think it was cool because it was like my first go meeting Jay. I was a big Blacklisted fan, and
of course,
me and Jay have been friends for like ever since. He plays an End. Like it's
bandmates now.
Yeah. Now it's like full. It was a really cool full circle thing to do a band with him after that and stuff.
Well, you and I recorded together, which we'll get to. But and through that time, I kind of gathered what the backstory was, but we didn't really dive into it. We were busy. When you're you have Fit going on and you're recording a bunch. Like, is it becoming? Are you getting too busy? Like, at what point is it like, oh shit, like this is my career? Like recording.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had moments where I was like, shit, I might be taking on too much. I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
But I like 10 years ago, I saw myself out of touring full time with Fit. Wow. It was like, we're going to get another guitarist for the band. And if I can't make a tour, I can't make a tour. And now I just don't go on tour.
So 10 years ago,
because it's like
2014.
Tim, who's like in the band, because we're like a band with 6 people, you know, and they tour as a 5-piece. He's great. He's fantastic. If I got on stage, I'd probably make it worse. So I'm like, it created this thing that just works unbelievable on its own that I don't have to interfere with now. And like creatively, I steer the ship and I manage the band too. So I handle a lot of the vision that is that band. But I just can't do the touring.
Yeah,
it would have been one or the other.
It's a cool model, though. I like the
It's a great model.
Yeah.
Because if you're writing, then who fucking cares who's playing?
Who gives a shit?
It's cool. It was weird for a minute because I was like, man, I don't know if I'm watching my own band play a show. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. And I was like, well, it's this or it's nothing. And I love the guys in the band. And it was like, I didn't want to have to leave the band, and we had this conversation where I was like, look, this was like the fork in the road with the production stuff too for me, where it was like, I'm now getting asked to make records all year and the band's getting asked to tour all year. I can't do both things.
Right.
So what do we do?
Yeah.
And they rode with me and they're cool with the dynamic and it's like turned into this beautiful thing for everybody.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And so you said the band started around 2006. When did you start recording even as a hobby? I'm trying to figure out how long it took you to go from hobbyist to...
I didn't record as a hobby. I started recording in a recording studio. Right. I mean, that's...
Shit.
I didn't know shit about recording other than what I had seen with my bands, and I had taken a recording class or two in school for fun, and it was, I worked at this. I had a little internship at this place called the Syndicate. It was like a radio promotion thing. They used to manage. They managed like Shadows Fall and Poison the Well.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Bands like that back in the day. It was just something I was interested in. The class, the recording studio that I had the class at, and that company all shared a building with Machine, the record producer. So like Word, they knew that I was really into the stuff he was doing, because at the time he was doing Every Time I Die and Lamb of God.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, I saw Sepultura demos on his desk one day. I was like, what is happening here? But all this stuff, word got back to him, like, hey, there's this kid around. He's like pretty dialed in to your world. So he had a kid and needed an intern to kind of just start babysitting bands at his studio while he had some downtime. Wow. And he's like, hey, do you want to do this? And that was just the start of that relationship.
And what
timing, pure time, place and time.
What year was that?
He's like, it was probably 2005, maybe.
So like
somewhere in there.
9 years. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And I didn't know anything. He's like, you know how to use Pro Tools, right? You just got to demo this band. They're just going to jam while I'm home. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. And I was just scrambling. It was a couple months of just scrambling to be
just lying,
but just to hit the threshold of like a sucky intern.
Okay.
But
holy shit.
I sponged up quick enough where it was like cool. And I think what he did, which was like a beautiful thing that I learned and apply that to when we take on people, is he didn't care about the technical stuff. He was just like, I just want to be around musical people, and I just want, if someone's gonna work at the studio, like that shit'll come later. He just wanted to see that people had that sort of brain,
Right.
That's
He
sick.
just and he was just like, you'll figure this stuff out. I just like that you're musical, so we'll get there, And we do the same thing. Like when we get kids, if we have interns or assistants, I'm less concerned if like they went to Berkeley or they worked 10 years in this other recording studio. It's just like, hey, here's some music. Is this in tune? Can you hear this drum fill? Can you hear that? It's just like, I just want to see if people are musical.
So he caught up on the like you kind of knowing the unteachable things already. And that was enough to know he could teach you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of where it started. And then within a year, I was just like in it. I mean, that's all I did. I would sleep at the studio and I'd work for him for like a full day in a studio. And then when everybody left, I would just stay up and try to figure out stuff on my own. And
really?
It was a crazy time.
Were you working? Like, did you have another job at the time also?
I had like bullshit jobs just to pay bills, but I was because I had school bills, and then I was living in Jersey on my, in apartments, which is expensive. And so I would try to bartend or work at coffee shops or try to make money booking shows, which I don't know if you've ever booked shows, but don't do that.
All right, I made $83 tonight.
Yeah. So I would just scramble, to try to just make ends meet while I was getting all that done. Because he took care of me a little, but it was like, dude, I didn't, an intern, I don't know anything. He's not going to I didn't have the salary.
No, that's the purpose of an intern, is so that he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, so it was rough. I mean, I learned not to sleep, and it was wild time. But we got through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome. You did.
Before we get to bands and stay on bands, I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, hit me.
So get ready. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Best drummer you ever recorded?
Ooh.
Best drummer. Ooh, that would be Arik from the band Night Versus.
Night Versus.
Not a hardcore band, more of like a prog metal kind of band. But he's a freak. He's like 101.
Good job,
Definitely one of the best in the world. They're on tour with Tool this summer.
Well,
so
there you
it's
go.
like one of those
There you
things.
go.
Yeah.
Tool hears you and goes, that guy's pretty good. You're probably pretty good.
Yeah. So,
have you ever sent a band home for not being ready?
yes.
We don't have to disclose the name.
We never get into
Yes.
that, but God, that gives me chills. It sounds
it's brutal,
so
dude.
bad.
Oh, it's terrible, but it happens, and it's happened more than once, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
you ain't ready. All right. Have you ever had to trigger or edit a drummer's performance so heavily that might as well be a robot playing?
Yes.
Perfect.
Sure.
And
yeah.
band you're dying to work with.
Oh,
Ooh, dying. I want Metallica. That's the one.
fuck yeah, dude.
And
Yeah.
let me tell you, Will, I want you to have Metallica.
Yeah.
I want to have Metallica. Too.
I'm gonna come in there and
try.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be-
try next time. I think I'm gonna actually try.
I say this respectfully. Metallica needs you.
Yeah. Dude.
So I want Metallica because of the like room for improvement thing that I feel like I could
Yeah.
bring to the table. Like, I mean, Metallica is one of the greatest bands to ever exist, but they're not,
Yeah.
25-year-old kids anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like,
No, they
just
need-
put somebody young in the chair, even if it's not me. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
put a young person around.
Yeah, they
You know?
need Bo Rock to get in
yeah.
there,
Yeah.
fix them up.
Bo
Yeah,
Rock.
I want it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That would, man. Metallica, if you're listening.
If you're listening, yeah.
Lars,
Will
if
in
you're
there.
listening. Will, he's qualified. Okay? Because let me tell
Thank
you,
you.
you don't have
Appreciate
to, when you write a song, Lars, if you're listening, when you write the song, you don't have to do the whole song twice every
yeah.
time. You know what I'm saying?
You can do 1.5 verses. Done.
Done.
You
But
don't.
anyway.
You don't like 5 verses. You guys don't like 5 verses?
I was just talking last week, I think, about how like you don't even need verse 3.
No, you literally
No,
don't.
you don't.
Verse 3 needs to be bridge. Verse 3, if you're gonna do verse 3, you gotta like
It has
you gotta
to
piss
change.
all over it and make
Yeah.
it be like, what? It's
Yes.
covered in piss.
Yes, the piss take.
Exactly.
I miss the classic Metallica bridge. They don't do it. They just do another verse. But all the old records that had the 7-8 minute songs, you had a journey halfway
Dude,
through.
I mean, it's just those are the best.
When you think about
all right.
the song,
We're not here to disparage the greatest
No.
band to probably ever exist.
But when you think about Master, and you think about the dun 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 building into the solo, into the like that build and that payoff, which is a direction that you couldn't see coming.
No.
That's what makes the
Yep.
whole thing. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
There's
so
a-
let's just
they
get
need you,
someone
Will.
to tell them that.
Someone to tell
for the
them
next
They need
that
you.
when they put a note for note Lenny Kravitz riff in a song, that
Yeah, dude.
You hate to see it.
it doesn't need to be there. But no, it's fine. Will, I think the job
fine.
is yours.
You know they
Thanks, man.
covered that
Appreciate it.
song, Colin. So at their Icons performance, they cover "Are You Gonna Go My Way."
So maybe it was like an intentional bit.
I think it kind of was.
Because I heard that and I went, you took this man's one riff.
Yeah, it's a cool riff too. Yeah,
You took the only riff he's got. Anyway.
yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. All right. So
question.
Fit for an
I like
Autopsy. Let's start there. The journey so far. You know, the band started in 2006. How did you find each other than Nothing Left to Mourn? And what were the first couple tours the band did?
So yeah, most of the band start was from Jersey, and then we hooked up with a lovely fella named Nate Johnson. Used to sing in this band, Deadwater Drowning, and spent some time in 3 Eyes of the Dead. And he wanted to do a new band. His bands had dissolved at that point. He had a buddy Seth who was also in that band. He played in the Casey Strain for a bit. He's like, I want to do a band with this guy, and we had 3 of us, and we're like, okay, let's just do it. So we kind of like hung a bit, demoed, wrote stuff. That was that first 4-song thing. Did a record pretty quick after it. Wound up getting picked up by Black Market Activities, guy from the Records label when he had that kick in.
Okay.
And it was fun. We were like in that space, doing a lot of shows locally with the bands that were on that label, Architect, The Network, that kind of like more chaotic stuff at the time. It kind of leaned to what the band was doing. And then we sort of started getting some tour opportunities. I know the first tour we did, we tried to do our own tour. Didn't go so well. Then we did a support tour to this band Molotov Solution, who were good buddies that were like more leaning into that deathcore space and
Were they
stuff.
from
And-
Vegas?
yeah, Vegas band.
Wow.
Yeah. And then second record, we wound up signing to another label and kind of leaned a little more into some of the classic metal influences, and it started to pick up. We started to see a lot more opportunities outside of just like noisier bands and stuff.
Was this Good Fight?
Yeah, E1, Good Fight,
Good
like
Fight.
that era of stuff. Yeah. We did a couple records on there. Band just grew steady. Did a lot of stuff in the deathcore space just because by default that was just sort of what
Sure.
like that was what was popular, is like what we could tour with, Suicide Silences and Whitechapels and that kind of thing. Then we signed to Nuclear Blast. We're on our second record there. Band sort of evolved into, we're trying to just be a proper metal band and do more stuff in that world. So we spent the past few years doing things like Lamb of God and Killswitch tours, and we just finished a headliner with Exodus and Dark Sour and Undeath. That was awesome. Yeah. So now we kind of play between both worlds and trying to figure out what's next. But it's been like we're never a hype band or anything like that. It was just a thing we grew slow and steady over. I always say if you're a band without a gimmick and you can just be good for 10 years, then you probably figure it out. Like then something probably cool should happen by then.
Look at Gojira and shit.
Right.
If you rock so hard that you like Meshuggah rocks so hard they don't have to move.
Yeah, for sure. Just some lights and fucking play a riff. But we want to be a lights and play the riff band. I like it.
Amen.
Everyone's getting older and like fuck it. We're that's where we're at, and it's good. Morale's high. Everybody's fucking stoked on doing the band still. Creatively, we're in a good place, and
it's awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to where it's going.
Seems like you have a good tight-knit group of people in the band.
Yeah, these dudes we've all been together for a while now, everyone who's in the band's been here for at least 10 years, and everybody knows each other and what each other's flaws and things are, and it's good. You go through your band therapy stages,
of course,
and the growing pains and stuff, and then you're just like always on a page,
Yeah.
It's nice when you get there and you're like, all right, it's like I could tell these dudes how it is. Everyone could talk shit to each other without it being a problem. I don't know. It's just everyone's just a grown up, you know.
You gotta have you
think,
gotta have a little roast sesh every now and then. Mutual roast.
I don't know.
Sesh.
You'd be surprised how many bands don't get to that level with their communication and shit. Like, because I've had every version of a band through the studio, and there's some bands that just like don't know how to talk to each other.
It's crazy,
and
man.
it just makes problems.
You gotta dish out wedgies every now and then and keep each other in check.
Yeah, I'm sure how anyone who's like a real dude just like wouldn't have time to deal with shit like that.
No, you give out some wedgies, Will?
I give out some wedgies. Okay. Yeah.
Who's the wedgie
Little
guy
wedgies.
in Fit For An Autopsy? Who's getting the wedgie?
No. It's like group wedgies.
Oh, not like a literal wedgie?
A circle
wedgie.
nobody.
Because Anthony gets wedgies all the time. I'll tell you what.
Me and Pat, who's the guy I started the band with, we're at each other's throats from time to time, but we're like brothers, so it isn't like we'll scream at each other and then call each other and be like, all right, so tomorrow we got to do this thing. And,
so that's kind of like a sibling relationship almost. Like, fuck you, what's for dinner?
It feels more like that, yeah.
Fuck you, what's for dinner?
Where did the band name come from? Is it like a sexy corpse?
No, and I hate the band name, honestly. I tried to change it so many years ago. The band name came from a band that wasn't even our band. It was the original singer's old band. We didn't have a band name. And he's like, well, we're not going to do that band anymore. We're like, oh, fuck it. Let's just use that. This won't affect us in 20 years, Yeah, it's fine. When I say I hate the name, people are like, no, it's not that bad, but I could see that they know that it's bad.
No.
I think, it's that. Dude, it's not that bad,
Sexy corpse, I get it. It's cool.
When people ask where the name came from now, we just say death was taken. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
So like so it means a body is now ready for an autopsy. I'm just trying to actually dig into what the
I guess that it means that a person is dead. Yeah,
in a sexy way.
Yeah.
But death
I don't
was
get the
taken
sexy thing. But
like
if
fit,
you think
like
it's
fit
sexy,
fit bird.
Oh, fit like in shape.
She's fit for an autopsy. My God,
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. I never looked at it sexy. All right.
Damn.
All right.
You look fit for an autopsy.
All right.
Oh no.
Sorry, that's gonna follow you maybe now.
Death already taken is really good though.
That's a great answer.
I like that.
Yeah. Thanks. So let's just go with that.
Yeah.
When I say favorite tour in terms of Fit For An Autopsy, I know them days is over. Your touring days is over, like Forrest Gump.
Right.
What What comes to mind when like the one you think about and you go, that was awesome?
The first tour. The first tour I did with the band was the coolest.
Wow.
Even though it was bullshit, it was like we were on tour with our friends, this band called Bassinate from New Jersey, and it was like my first tour. And I'll always remember it as being, holy shit, I'm on tour. Like, this is insane.
It's very pirate ship. It's very like, here we go. Like it's very, very fun. The early ones.
Yeah, it was just something, I think because I never thought I could do it. You know what I mean? It always just seemed unobtainable to me. Like, fuck, man, I'll never be in like a band that goes on tour. I got too much shit going on, or my band's not good enough. That was just being able to do it and get home. It was such an accomplishment, and we had so much fun on that run that it was just like, I don't know, it always has a special place.
Beautiful. Tell me about the Grammy win.
Grammy Win was weird, man. It's fucking strange. I've been up for a few, and I didn't think this was not the one I thought we would win. Because I did some stuff. Yeah, I did some stuff with Gojira that got nominated twice, and then I did the previous Body Count record got nominated, and they got invited to play. They do like a Grammy pre-show,
right,
where they give out all the like less popular awards, like best metal performance and like best jazz duet and whatever,
Yeah.
So it's like it was at the Garden, and it was sick, and we went, did the sound check, and they're playing, and then they tell us like we're sitting at the award show, everybody goes up to perform, and they tell us, okay, after Body Count performs, everybody go right here because they're about to announce your category. So we're like, oh shit, they're putting us like right next to the stage, like we're 10 feet from the guy who's announcing like the awards, and they're like, okay, everybody stand right here. We're like, holy shit, I think we won. And then they're like, and the award goes to Mastodon, and then we get ushered off, like the hook comes out, and we just get ripped off the stage, and everyone was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
But so I was like, all right, if we didn't win that one,
right,
that was the shot. We're never gonna win it. And then, fast forward like to the next album, it's COVID, and we're like, I didn't even watch the Grammys because like, I don't know, some fucking crazy world event was probably happening. Everyone was at home, and they were like live streaming the Grammys and stuff. And then my phone starts blowing up like, yo, Body Count just won a Grammy. I was like, how? What?
But that means
and I was like,
won a Grammy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, okay, that's cool. And then I went back and and I was like, well, let me get a clip from somebody, So I really wasn't expecting it, especially like, I mean, I don't remember everybody that year, but I know like Power Trip had a nod that year.
Yeah,
I was like, they're gonna fucking win this
for a live song. This is how like weird the Academy is. Like they put out a song that year.
Yeah,
the live version was nominated. I don't know.
The choice, I'll never fully understand it. I have a little insight into how the Grammys work, and I still don't. I think it's not quite put together.
Sure,
it's not the most in touch all the time, but I mean, it was cool. It was still cool to see a band like that just be nominated.
Yeah, agreed.
And then I was like, we did a song with Riley, like on the Body Count record, and they chose. And it was like a single too. And like, there's a video with Ice and Riley and stuff. And I'm like, just pick that song. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I don't know. The whole thing was like, surprising, but it was like, it's cool. It's like the type of thing where like your mom's proud of you, and it doesn't really change my life, but it's definitely, I don't know. I never thought it would happen,
It's amazing.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I don't think, I don't know if it happens again. I feel like that's a one.
Who cares,
we'll
dude?
see.
Even the nomination asterisk is like something you carry forever.
Fuck yeah! Did you get any cool swag, gift bags, or anything?
I got a plaque. It was a very nice plaque, and then I was told I was getting one in the mail, and then it just never showed up. So we'll see.
Amazon's got them. I'll send you one.
Yeah. Well, they said Ice is gonna make me like he's like, I got a fake one for you. I made for like my homies. I'll get you one of those.
Dude,
nice.
Let's talk about Ice-T for a second.
Yeah, can we?
Yeah, he's the fucking best.
That's the best news. I'm now on my third full rewatch of SVU, and let me tell you, Will, I love this man.
Yeah, he is. he is a treasure, an American treasure.
How did they find you?
I did a lot of work for a label that signed him, and my buddy Sean Keith, who now runs like Sharptone. They were looking for a producer because like we got to reinvent Body Count for modern times. I haven't put a record out in a while.
Right.
He went to bat for me. He got me the meeting with him and everything. So I guess he had talked to a few people, but I think he liked that I understood the lineage of Body Count, like what it actually came from. I don't know if he had connected with another producer that sort of knew the world where it was actually from.
Gotcha.
And so that's like kind of what got it done, and then we just started working together and haven't stopped. It's been great.
Did you write a good amount of this stuff on both those records?
I mean, I'm pretty involved. They take care of me like a band member, you know.
That's awesome.
As like I know they definitely value my creative input and stuff, and I'm handsy with the band for sure. But it's like it's like Ice. A lot of it is Ice's vision. You know,
That's
it's
awesome.
like the storytelling and what he wants to do and the type of songs. Like a lot of it just like goes through his lens.
Did you
know?
record the Suicidal cover?
Yes.
So the Xbox lines and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I would have screamed. I would have been like, yes.
I was dying. He's making. I'm vegan, and he's like writing parts making fun of fucking vegans and then laughing at me. Like the whole dude, he's the best.
That's
I love
awesome.
that guy.
Could you give me some insight on some kind of modern hardcore metal bands that he's into?
Oh.
I know he loves Power Trip. He's pretty big on. I've showed him I've showed him stuff that was like adjacent. Like, oh, you should check out like Terror. You should check out. I know he likes Straight from the Path because that's got Rage similarities and stuff like that. He's pretty big into like the New York hardcore stuff. That was like his. I think because that was partially his intro to that world too. But like, yeah,
the Ice Pick track he's on. My God.
Yeah, he'll get down with a Madball record. He's a Jamie Josta fan. You know, like he kind of lives in that East Coast shit too. So I think that's why we.
You ever hear this?
You know what I haven't done? I haven't showed him E-Town. I feel like I should.
You gotta.
I know. I will. Next time I see him, I will.
Have you heard the 6 Feet Under song he's on?
Yes, I have.
That's one of that might be, and this is a spoiler for when we do a best guest spots episode of all time episode. That might be number one.
Is is Chris Barnes always in 6 Feet Under?
That was his thing.
Wow.
And it's even
it's
more apparent because when I start singing, you're like, God, can't I just have this? Just do this. Anyway,
I love it.
Body Count. Wow, Grammy winner, unbelievable. Do you have plans to work with them again?
Yeah, we are like kind of in the middle of a new one, so I'm almost done with it. It's been a bit in and out because the writer's strike. And for Body Count's cool for him because he only does it because it's fun. He doesn't need to do Body Count. Like the dude's clearly got his main gig and stuff.
Yeah,
and what a gig
which is awesome.
What a gig!
Because it just makes it so pure and fun.
Yeah.
But it also has to take a back seat when it's time to like film television shows and stuff.
You got SVU spoilers for me? You get them early?
No, I can't be doing that. No.
Do you have a favorite moment, Colin?
What do you say?
Do I have a favorite what?
Favorite SVU moment?
Dude,
I don't know, man.
so there's a John Mulaney bit about Ice's character, Detective Odafin Tutuola. And it's basically like in every episode, there's a moment where Finn, who has been a detective in the Special Victims Unit now for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
Which is, the whole thing is that it's sex crimes.
Right.
Like that's the thing. That's what they do.
That's the show.
And there will be a thing where it'll be like a pedophile, you know?
Yeah.
And Finn will be like, hold up. You telling me this guy gets off on touching kids? And it's like, well, yeah.
Yes, Finn.
And that every time that happens, or also when a criminal's like making an escape, you know, but Ice is like body blocks him from leaving, and he's like, I don't think so. Those are my. That's what keeps me coming back.
Oh, that's good.
I
fan.
It.
I like when the district attorney lady, the blonde lady,
They're both blonde. Alexandra Cabot or Casey Novak?
When one of them disappears and one shows up, but then because we
Cabot
think
disappears and Novak shows up,
but she doesn't really die. Like that thing is awesome. I loved that part.
There's a couple of those.
Yeah, I know. It's good. It's a good show.
Spoilers. SVU spoilers. Maybe the greatest procedural drama in the history of television. Anyway, let's talk about End a little bit.
Sure.
What
do you want to know?
How does this multi-regional supergroup come to be?
End started as a thought for me. I'd worked with Brendan a lot with Counterparts. Yeah. And for fun, I was like, hey, you want to sing on a Fit record? Because we were recording around the same time. And she's like, yeah, maybe I'll try this new heavy voice thing, And then I hear Brendan for the first time do some kind of low voice over down two guitars. And I was like, oh, that was cool. And then just banked that for 6 months. And I was like, fuck, I kind of want to hear that again. I mean, honestly, it was the way Fit was headed. The band was getting more kind of traditional metal. Yeah. And I found myself being pulled away from it when I'd go sit down to write a song. And I feel like I was throwing the kitchen sink at songs because I want all this dissonant, chaotic hardcore shit because that's just my shit. Yeah. And then I'm writing music and I'm like, yeah, but now it's losing its way and this sounds like two bands. And I was like, what if I just do another fucking band and lean into this stuff, Because that is at the time when End started, and it kind of still is. It's sort of that's my sweet spot for when I want to listen to aggressive music now. I like the grind and power violence stuff, and always never got to do a band like that. And so I just called up some people that I had worked with or were friends with. And I was like, hey, if I do this band and I convince this guy to be in it, would you be in it? And then what if I got this dude to play guitar? Would you sing? So I kind of. Jay from Reign Supreme, obviously, because I knew towards the end of Reign Supreme, he was starting to really lean into that stuff too. He was trying to go that way with Reign Supreme a little bit. And Greg, I met working with Misery Signals, who wasn't doing a band at the time. We have so many parallel interests with heavy music. I was like, man, he'd be perfect. And this dude Andrew, who we were friends, it came together as just people who I knew liked this stuff that weren't doing it, And it was a thought experiment almost first where I was like, even if I just get this out of my system, we do an EP, put it out. I don't know what the fuck will happen with it. So everyone kind of knew each other or knew of each other, but we met at the studio. I was like, let's just make a fucking record, And it was cool. We all became great friends real fast. And that EP did all right. We started getting asked to do shows.
It was wildly successful.
Yeah, a little better than it was fucking. Yeah, everywhere.
It was cool because it was it wasn't a joke, but it was not a band. It was not serious. It was the music was serious, but it was we're just gonna make this thing and then go back to our day jobs. And then it went good, and we're like, fuck, okay, let's do stuff now with it. So start touring, playing shows, writing records, and it's snowballed. Now obviously we're real into it now. Especially me and Greg, because we were this is our outlet for this kind of stuff. We want creatively, it's one of the most fulfilling things I do, and I love making those records. I love playing those shows. And it became a cool reason for me to get out of the studio too, because that's the first project since I stopped touring with Fit where I'm cool, I'm going to go back on tour and stuff.
Yeah, how do they feel about that?
They give me shit for it. They gave me shit for it. Oh, that's cool. You're going to tour your other fucking band? Yeah, cool, man. Yeah.
And now there's a third one.
Yeah, now there's another one. Yeah.
I think when we did Posthuman, I think End was you were talking about it.
Yeah, it was
baby
inception. That was the inception of End was right around then. Yeah.
What was the writing process? Did you write everything or was it you and Greg or was it?
Me and Greg are pretty... We're pretty hand in hand on it. Okay. I'll do a few, he'll do a few, we'll do a bunch together, we'll fuck with each other's songs. Cool. We're kind of both it's very collaborative with the two of us on that. It's our baby,
Very cool.
And I love writing with him. It's awesome.
Tell me about working with Justin.
Justin's great. He's the guy in this.
He's the guy.
I don't want. Yeah, I mean, if you're a hardcore band, he's the guy who should put your record out. He just lets you do it, full artistic freedom, and he's I always call him like, dude, what do you think about if we like did this? And I know it costs more, but like,
sounds great.
I love you. Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
So,
let's do it. It's great.
I wanted to ask you, the new record art is one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, the
Oh,
layout.
thank you. Yeah,
What
yeah.
the
Crazy.
fuck?
Thank you. Yeah, we were like, I like packaging. I've always been a vinyl guy, and I was like, man, let's just go fucking crazy on this. We've spent enough energy in this record where
Yeah.
I wanted the visual component of it to just have that.
I want to
factor
know the
too.
cost on that motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I got the opposite reaction. Well, knowing Justin, I thought he
Yeah.
would be stoked, but I was calling him to convince him that we should do something insane like this. And then he was like, dude, I love it. It's awesome. I can't wait to do it. I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
his
okay,
dream.
easy.
Yeah,
That's his dream
yeah.
is to have bands who care enough to be like, can we do something different?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alex is the guy who did it. He's just on a whim. I hit him up, and I was like, he had never done an album cover. He was just like this visual artist who had done these 3D things, and I was like, hey, I'm in this band, and blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, I fucking love it, and this would be awesome. I was like, the fact he actually knew the band too and was in our world, I was like, just by chance, we were able to get out of the box with a new artist who kind of liked the band. I don't know, it was just really cool collaborative thing that worked out great.
It's one of the most striking album art layouts that I've seen in recent memory, for sure. Like,
No, I
it
appreciate
immediately
We
grabbed
spent
me.
some energy on
Yeah,
it, so
it looks
thank you
awesome.
for
Well done.
saying that.
Tell me about making Posthuman together, guys. Tell me some stories.
Posthuman was great.
Posthuman was great.
What do you got?
We all speak about it very fondly because it was the first time that we went and stayed. So the way Graphic Nature or Machine Shop or whatever, at the time it was Graphic Nature, right?
Yeah.
The way that it was there's like multiple booths and a live room upstairs, and then like bunk rooms and a kitchen in the back. So we went and lived there for like 3 weeks ish, and it was the first time that we had ever done anything like that. So it was like very cool, very exciting. It was also the first time we did real pre-production where we sat with Will. We had sent Will demos that we did in Madison or Milwaukee or something. We sent him them. He had notes. Then we just played through every song with Will right there and like went through every song.
And he added the become a machine breakdown.
It was Will's idea to go back into that I guess it's the verse. Or is it? I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's the verse. And make it
no, it's kind of the
Yeah.
chorus.
but then the chorus is dun, 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 become a machine. You know.
Maybe it's the refrain. We'll call
Yeah.
it. We'll call it the
So
refrain.
it was
Like that.
we had it ending just on the fade out. And it was Will's like,
How could you do that to me?
I think we should go back into that. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, broke my heart. No problem. Happy to help.
Among
Happy
other
to
things,
oblige.
we also wrote Last Man kind of with Will, like all together.
And that's like second or third song, right?
It's the second song. Yeah, we wanted something because, the first song is a little longer, so we wanted something kind of quick and upbeat to kind of break into it. And yeah, I just, it was, dude, I'll never, it was like we would wake up, have breakfast. We would go to Steve's around the corner, get some eggs,
Oh, yeah.
and go and, track or record or whoever was doing what that day. Finish up, and we would always eat with Will during the day. Finish up, go work out, cook dinner, watch Game of Thrones. Rinse and repeat every single
So just summer camp.
day. Literal summer
for the
camp.
boys.
And it was like such a cool experience and so fun. It felt like it was the first time we had done something outside of Chicago, outside of Bricktop.
Right.
So it just felt new and fresh and exciting. And Will was very patient with us. Will also tracked guitars with us in a way that I had never done before. And Will, I mean this with all due respect, but he was if Colin, hold up your air guitar like you're tracking, hold up your real guitar like you're tracking. Okay.
My real Dunnable
Yeah.
R2, V2.
Yeah, that you love to play. It feels so good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dunnable. Yeah, look at that Dunnable.
Will's looking at you and watching your hands and making sure that you're playing it right, and then like also muting strings for you behind your fretting hand to make sure nothing's ringing out.
You do that? You do all that?
Yeah, I get in there. I'm
You're crazy,
very
man.
I'm a giver, dude. I want
He's
the
a
good
guitar player.
performance,
He's a
So if I
guitar
hit
player.
Oh, okay.
You're behind me going, don't hit them fucking bottom.
Don't hit the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He'll lightly mute it, and also
mute that
the
spoon.
way the way that Will tracks stringed instruments is so enjoyable as a guitar player. It's like run through the song again, run through the song again. Of these 3 takes, we got it.
Oh,
And
that's good.
makes an amalgamation of the 3, generally speaking, and it's just so like there's not a lot of stress. There's no like punching in where you're going to kind of perform differently. It's all very natural, and I loved it. He has a great selection of guitar heads. I had a great time.
Look at
Well,
that.
what do you
So
remember?
nice. Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I was going to say, Will, do you like this? You like Harm's Way?
No, I love Harm's Way. It was a blast. Harm's Way is one of those bands where it was like the vision was so clear that it makes the record so fun. Because for me, like half the battle, not half the battle, but it's like what I consider one of the most important things is like I want whatever I record, I want it to have its own identity. I want it to be unique, stand on its own. When you hear a band, I want you to go, oh, it's that band. Like I know that's their sound, that's their thing, you know.
Right.
And these guys came in with like a vision that I liked, and it was like, man, I don't have to like pretend. I don't have to like cook something up, or we don't have to find that. It was like, fuck yeah, we're doing this. We all agree. We're on a page, you know. And then it kind of makes it so fun because everyone's working towards a common goal. And it was a great experience. Everyone's good, knew their shit, rehearsed. They're a real band.
Now, how
you know?
often does that happen versus a band coming in and saying, just make us sound like Knocked Loose, please?
I mean, it depends. I think I've been lucky lately where it's been bands that have their thing. You know, I feel like anytime there seems to be a pattern if like I do a record and it kind of pops or whatever, that then I'll get called for like, hey, can you do that thing? You know, and
Well, then that's a testament to your work.
Absolutely.
No, it is cool, and I'm very flattered, and I'm more so prefer to like take on mixes like that. But if I'm like gonna produce a band, I'm like, dude, well, you do your thing. I don't. Why do I gotta copy their thing?
Exactly.
That's their thing.
Don't you want to hear you?
Yeah. And
so now I kind of try to just do like, okay, I do these Knocked Loose records, so like I don't want to do another band that sounds like that because I want to give it to them, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, over time I've just been like, I already do a band like that, so I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you can be
know?
a little choosy.
And it's helped. It's helped like focus for the bands that kind of rode with me that when they weren't the big band or anything like that. And it's like, well, you earned that care, you know. I feel very like I owe a lot of my success to bands and the work that they do too. So I don't take it for granted that I'm just gonna give that to somebody else, you know, after they kind of put the work in to build that sort of sound for themselves too.
Did you do Low Teens?
I did, yeah.
So that was a big, now that I'm remembering, that was a big thing that was like, he did, Every Time I Die's record Low Teens sounds very different from, I think, their prior records. And did you do the one right before it, Will?
I did Low Teens and Radical. Those are the two.
Okay, Radical. Low Teens, I think, was like a sonic departure from both like stylistically a little bit and also just like sonically. The production was so fucking cool, and that was like a huge push for us to want to do Posthuman with Will. It's because we really like the way that record sounded. We really like the way that the drum sounded on that. And I think that's like a testament to like, Every Time I Die was a band that was super established and had their thing and was very much in their lane and who were always willing to kind of try other things and like try to be different and try to like, you know, be Every Time I Die. And that record is kind of one that stood out for me. And I think that is a testament to what you're saying, is that like you are in a position now where you can be a little more picky about what you're trying to produce and what you're trying to make. I think that's like the coolest position you can be in, being a producer, you know?
It is nice. It's made me sleep like a baby at night because I've been on the other side of that where you take a money gig or you take a band just because you need to, and then I just like live to regret it almost every time, and it just eats at my soul, and I don't know, it's not for me.
You remove the passion, then then it's work.
It's
if
no
I have
different
to
than a
be
job.
convinced to do it, it's like I just know I'm not all in on it. I'm not gonna do the work the right way,
Right. So, what are your thoughts on Graphic Nature being haunted?
I
Can
knew,
I
dude,
tell,
I knew it. I knew this was coming up.
Okay, before the haunted, can I share one Harm's Way story?
Please.
Because I don't know if Bo knows.
Please,
This was like
God.
one of the. This still lives as like one of our funniest moments.
Oh shit!
I don't even know if you know this. I'm walking into the kitchen.
Okay.
And I'm being quiet. I don't know, maybe like somebody was tracking in one of the rooms or whatever. And I walk around the kitchen, and I was just like seeing if anyone was around. And I see James at the table, and he has a 24-pack of eggs open at the table. He's just sitting there, and he's just staring at them. And I'm like, he's just fucking staring at eggs. Like, is he doing? And then I'm like just watching James watch eggs for a quick second, and then I'm like, yo, what's up, man? And he's just like, oh. I'm like, yo, are you just looking at eggs? And he's just like, yeah, I just really like eggs. And he just goes back to staring at them. I was like, all right, cool. And like to this day, if we're like at a diner or something, it's like, do you want? Yeah, I just really like eggs.
Wow.
Like it still makes
man.
rounds
Hey,
all the time.
I need to
years
say,
later.
at the day of recording, it is James' birthday today. So happy birthday, Jaime. You'll
Happy
hear
birthday,
this late.
James.
but-
I love
Happy birthday,
James.
James. Hope you get some eggs.
Hope you have all your eggs today.
I wonder what happened to them eggs. Whatever happened to those?
Well, they got 8.
Oh, I could tell you. They got eaten.
Okay.
Yeah, I can
Dude,
tell you what happened. To those eggs.
something that would happen is Nick would drink a little bit. He'd get a little tipsy, and then he would just be like, "Hey, who wants to eat?" And he can cook. He was vegan at the time. He could cook eggs and meat better than I could.
Wow.
He's a really good cook, and he worked at a co-op where he cooked professionally. And like, dude,
Every
he was
band needs a
wizard.
fucking line cook in it.
I love
Dude.
that. Yeah.
Nick
Chef
Nick,
in a band is a treat.
line
Very
cook,
nice.
riff cook. Nick is
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the complete package.
Everybody needs. You need one or the other.
Nick had this cool ability to make every song major too. Do you remember
Dude,
that?
it's crazy.
I really do. Have we talked about
Yeah.
Safe Space on the record or on the show, Colin? I think we have.
Yeah. and
Safe Space?
Yeah.
Safe Space, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You won't let us play it, but I understand why. It's got to be
Yeah.
on the deluxe reissue in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
That
fan
thing
of
is
Safe Space.
unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
He's talented.
So I've firsthand heard stories. Brian Garris shared a
So
story
have we. Yeah, it's on the show. It's
And
documented in our
it's
biggest
documented.
episode ever.
to us, Will. So we didn't experience anything, but I would love to know.
So
to
there's
Colin's
been
question.
rumblings that the studio's haunted. Up until I've heard about it for years, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. I don't really see anything. I'm here all the time, and I've heard it from several bands. Obviously, the Knock Loose story is pretty well documented. I never put a ton of stock into it. I'm like, it's just bands being silly. It's all good. One day, I'm writing an end song, and the power kind of does the dip thing. I was like, that was weird. That never happens. Okay. And then the radio comes through the guitar, and we're talking about somebody who was going through like a hard time right before it. Me and Greg were sitting there writing, and this radio station just starts playing, and it's a lady who goes, "Are you going through a hard time? God cares for you. Are you going through a hard time? God cares." And I'm recording. Luckily, I'm like, I got the button going, and this comes through the rig. I'm not even in an amp, so I don't know how I'm getting ground noise. Like I'm in a plug-in in a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With a
that's
pedal.
impossible.
And
It's
I'm like,
not impossible, but yeah.
okay, yeah, and it's fucking on the end record. It's the start of that song, "Hesitation Wounds."
Wow.
Right.
That's literally like some spooky thing that just popped in the studio, and I just remember recording it and going, fuck, man, it's fucking haunted here, huh? Like, I was just like,
Wait.
I actually had one. So now I'm like, all right, maybe it's a little fucked up here. I don't know. Belleville's crazy. They used to make war shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Now,
Dude, so you're telling me the Will Putney STL Tone Hub pack available now is part of the haunting?
I was haunted through it.
That
So,
seems
it's
impossible.
poltergeist.
I don't know how it happened.
Because it's amps
no.
that pick up that frequency.
I
No,
know.
it's
That's why
electronics.
to this day, I'm like, I've never gotten radio through a pedal into a plug-in before. It's never happened.
Bo, that's irrefutable. I dare you to refute
what
it.
was Brian's? Was it not similar? It was the power and then
Power
a radio
went
thing?
off.
He
and then
had
there
the
was a
power.
sample
He had the
recorded.
power thing. Yep. He had
Yeah.
the power thing. They heard the sound. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Jury's out, but
I will
I'll
say
tell you what.
that like the cool thing about the studio too was like, well, when would you usually clock out? Like 5, 6 in the evening?
No, probably later than that. I think it depends.
You're right. You would go until you're right. My mistake. So basically, when we were done for the day, Will would go home, and we were just kind of left to our devices there. We could like go upstairs and practice and play and like do whatever we wanted at full volume because it didn't. That's all that was there, you know.
Yeah.
And the area that it was in, it was like totally normal. And I will say that like when the lights were all off and when it was dark, it was just a spooky big old room for sure. So like
Yeah, a
walking
little
from the bunk room to like the stairs to leave is definitely like a kind of a thing.
Taking
for sure.
out the trash at night type
Exactly.
feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss much about the spookiness. I'm in the woods now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like nice and I got mountains and nature, but there was definitely something to the unsettled nighttime vibe there.
Well, I
at
mean, you got
times.
the Blair Witch around you now, so I wouldn't get too
Yeah,
comfortable.
I'm in
man.
like Hereditary, what's that red light over there thing going on over here? You know. Yeah.
How's the new studio? You loving it?
I love it. It's awesome.
Is it done?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's always everything's a work in progress forever, you know.
Yeah.
But we moved here in like right before COVID, pretty much, and just kind of converted space into studio space, living space for bands and everything. And
So cool.
I mean, it's awesome.
The living
I fully
space-
can maximize time, and it's just so much chiller, and there's more room and stuff. It's been awesome making records here.
The living space for bands thing is so fucking cool. It's such a huge bonus if and when you get to utilize that because it just takes away from everything. You can
amazing.
literally just only focus on the product. It's so cool.
Yeah, I love the like move in, isolate vibe.
Yeah.
I don't like distractions for records. If we want a day off, we want to go out, have fun, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But it's like, I like taking some of reality away. It helps like kind of narrow your thought process a bit, you know?
Well, I wanted to ask you about something.
Yeah, what do you got?
I believe now I think this has been talked about on another podcast, so we don't have to get too in depth. But I wanted to bring it back because it's loose in my memory. You did a Stray record, and
Yeah.
you did a thing where you played an amalgamation of horrible noises into the isolation cabinet.
Yes, I did do that.
And what was this called? What was the game called?
This is so stupid.
Colin, do you know this?
So we had this. There's this thing called the death riff. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's just a shit riff that
Yeah.
shit bands play. That you know.
How does it go?
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Here, pick up that sweet Donable.
The R2V2?
Yep.
That plays so
and then
good.
starting at the bottom string, go. Give me 7/8, 7/8, 7/8, 7/8.
Oh.
Go up the strings. Yep.
That's it?
So do did it, and then go back down. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a garbage riff.
Yeah.
So we just call it the death riff because it just makes you want to die. Anyway, yeah, Tom and the gentleman in Stray, we like to gamble, and we thought it'd be funny to place a bet on who could outlast somebody else listening to like torture music in these cab ISO boxes. So the whole bit in the short was we played the death riff, pitched all over the place, for whom the bell tolls bass line also out of tune, over all that, people screaming, everyone's stripped to their underwear, hands and feet tied, thrown into ISO boxes, completely black, kind of hard to breathe. Probably should have checked if oxygen was a thing, like beforehand. A little scary. And then we had a couple Mesa Boogies just blasting this, like, MP3 that we made, like fucking Guantanamo torture music. And everybody had a little cable. Somebody was sitting on the couch in another room. And when you tapped, you pull on the cable, and then somebody comes in to let you out. So, like, you don't know when the other guy leaves. Okay. So it's all right. Last man standing wins the pot.
And you don't know. So think about that.
You don't
Total
know.
isolation,
Yeah.
chaos.
I think we all threw in like $100 or something. It wasn't too crazy. And then, yeah, I won, clearly, because I could fucking stand any torturing me with music.
You're being tortured.
It's my job.
At work.
How long
clearly won. Yeah.
How long did you make it?
Yeah, I took a nap, actually. That's how I knew I won. I woke up from a nap, and I was like, dude, I got this.
Wow.
And
I was
how long were you in there?
3 hours, 13 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude.
Yeah.
You got to have fun. You know, you got to have fun.
Yeah. I could have beat you. I went to Alcatraz the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You know damn well my first thought was, I could have made it.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
I could have made that
It does.
swim.
I did a tour there once, and when they described, like, this prison was particularly brutal because you could hear the city.
Yeah.
Like, on good nights, you could just hear
On
people
New
out
Year's,
partying.
you could always just hear people talking because of the wind and the fireworks.
And it's just like, oh, that's so brutal.
I could do it.
That's
different.
brutal.
I'm different.
Dude, I'm not much of a swimmer.
You could make the swim. It's the current, though, that fucks
No,
you up,
I
right?
ain't worried about the current.
All right.
Believe me.
All right. Be harder, I guess.
I'm like okay
Yeah, right.
at swimming. Like a regular swimmer. I can make it.
Yeah.
Let's
I
talk.
got this.
Let's talk Better Lovers.
Yeah, please.
Better Lovers. Cool. Better Lovers was what formed out of Every Time I Die, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It was so pretty much after the split, those guys all had intentions of continuing, you know, like the four members of Every Time I Die that wasn't besides the singer.
Yeah.
And they were just going, writing, doing things. I was still involved with those guys and bouncing music back and forth. Didn't know what the hell was going to happen with that, you know.
Of course.
Andy was like still in the mix. Like they were just going to do this band, find a new singer. Wouldn't be called E-Tid. We'll just move on.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I'd been making records with them for a while now, and it was like, cool, I'm in. Whatever it's going to be, let's just figure it out. That sort of progressed to where, like, let's demo these songs. We got kind of like an EP that might feel pretty good, and then we'll shop a singer or just like figure that out, you know. And towards the end of that, they were like, yeah, Andy's not really involved, don't know what's going on yet, we'll see what's up. And sort of up until like the day they were coming to the studio, I was is Andy coming? Is this gonna be a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I love Andy. He's just man's fucking killing it.
Yeah, he's on TV.
And
Yeah.
I think he was maybe holding out on kind of letting them know he didn't want to do a full-time band because of that too. And
Yeah.
it was one of those things where it was like everyone's so close and loves each other, and he's just like, I didn't want to let you guys down, but I don't know if I can do this.
Totally.
So
Sure.
they're like, all right, Jordan's got it. Jordan's a brilliant guitarist, and we just came in and made the record, kind of those 4 songs without him. Not sure where that was going to go or anything, you know. And it was like, cool, let's try some singers out. At this point, I was just in the role of a buddy producer, helping him with songs kind of thing. But I hadn't really, there was no talk of me doing the band. So we weren't really sure if there was even going to be another guitarist. And, you know, Greg popped up as an idea for a frontman. So they sent him some songs, and we heard a little bit back, and I was like, yo, we should do this. Like, Greg's a fucking animal, and that very quickly turned into, like, him signing up, going to the studio, recording shit, and me getting these songs. As these songs were finally getting done and stuff, we just sort of, like, mutually flirting with the idea of if I could do the band and stuff, and I was like, man, if Greg's in on this, I think I am too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it became this like, all right, am I doing this fucking, am I playing guitar
band?
or what? Yeah. Are we doing this or what? You know?
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, I got, you know, I was like, luckily where the world is right now, I feel like tours are happening. They're coming together further than records are. Used to be like, hey, we're ready to make a record and then we'll plan touring. And now I get calls like, all right, we got our European tour here and this, so we need an album by this time.
Yeah.
So it's like
we got winter 2025 locked in. Let's get started.
Yeah. I was like, all right, well, if we can stay ahead on the touring and shit, I'll just figure it out, because I was like, I really like making music with these dudes, and I saw this as an opportunity to do a full-time band for probably the first time in my life, which sounds crazy, but End is not a full-time band. Everybody else has other stuff. Brendan's full-time with Counterparts. Matt, who drums, is now full-time with the Casey Strain. Jay opened a barbershop. Greg produces records like me. We're not touring 10 months out of the year. It just can't happen, you know? And Better
Pure
Lovers
passion.
wants... Yeah, it's just for fun. It's just to get it out, play what we can do and move on. And Better Lovers wants to go. And I was like, you know what? This is my last shot to do this the way I was looking at it. 40's fucking creeping up on me. And I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll just go for it. I love hanging with these dudes and playing. And I was like, I'm looking at it like it's like, all right, I'm going hard for the last time with this. I want to see where it goes.
Do you think you took any of your traveling for granted earlier in your life?
I think when COVID stopped and the world opened back up and went on tour a bunch, which I hadn't done for a long time at that point. We did a full U.S. tour. We did a European tour. We started to do shit, and I loved it. I was like, man, I fucking love getting out of the house. Who didn't after COVID?
Yeah,
I think the first show back we played was Furnace Fest, and I was just like, dude, I fucking love playing shows. What have I been doing? And then I was like, that didn't go away, really. It wasn't just the honeymoon phase of that comeback. I was like, man, I fucking like getting out of this chair and playing and fucking jumping into a crowd and going crazy. And it's
right.
It just it hadn't really happened for me full time ever. I've made a ton of music. I've worked on 1 million records, written 1 million records, but I never was a full-time touring guy. And I was like, that's the fucking phase of life I want to be in now.
Interesting.
It's funny how it works that way, because I'm just now getting that itch again after being I'm pretty good on even playing.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I thought I would never do it again. I mean, I thought I'd play a show or two here and there with the side project, and that would be it for life. And then I was like, you know what? Let me jump into this. See if I'm missing anything in my life. Yeah. And I don't know. It's been really invigorating for me to be that active again with a band.
That's awesome.
When I come home, I'm more focused on records, and I just love it. I was really, really, really fortunate for the opportunity for that one.
Pardon this interruption. We have some very special messages for you.
Colin, what is that shirt you're wearing?
This very sick Into Another shirt I'm wearing, I got from Mad Vintage.
Mad Vintage? What is that about?
Mad Vintage is a website you can go to right now to get badass vintage hardcore, metal, punk, rock, all of the etc. tees.
That's right. He's got all kinds of stuff. It's all cool. It's got all the measurements on there. You don't have to worry about nothing.
You have to know your own body, and then you got to worry about what you want, because he's probably got it, and you better hurry up, because we're going to probably buy it before you.
Yes. You can use code HardLore15 to get 15% off anytime. And he wanted me to say that he's also always looking to buy stuff. If you got stuff you're wanting to offload, hey, Mad Vintage might be your guy.
Keep an eye out. Maybe he'll have some stuff from my personal vault.
Ooh.
We'll see how I'm feeling. If you want to feel good all the time, you better rock Mad Vintage. You know what else makes me feel good all the time, Bo?
You are a professional. I'll tell you what.
I know. Athletic
what is it?
Greens. AG1, baby. We're the biggest fans. Tell them about AG1, Bo.
AG1 is unbelievable. It is a supplement that I take every single day. And it's as easy as an 8-ounce glass of water and a little scoop from a jar. And that's it.
Little scoop of yummy powder makes me I need less coffee in my day. I have more energy. My daily vitamin antioxidants, I was screwed before. Now guess what? I'm unscrewed, because AG1 fixed me right up. I don't know what I would do without this thing, especially as a part-time traveling show and as a traveling musician.
Yep.
we work with what we got, and generally what we got are soft, crappy bodies filled with the worst stuff you can possibly intake.
Yeah.
AG1 changed that for me, genuinely.
And if you use the very special link in the description of this episode, it'll take you to AG1. You can get 5 free packets of AG1 that you can take with you anywhere. That way, we're about to go to Florida. I'm taking some with me.
You will. If you stop me at FYI, the first person that stops me at FYI and asks me for a packet of AG1, I'm going to give you one.
Boom.
So whoever listens to this, if you find me at FYI, I'm going to give you a packet of AG1.
And you also get a year's supply of the vitamin D, vitamin K drops, which I was looking at my bottle today when I took my AG1. They really mean a year, let me tell you, because there's so much in there. It's unbelievable.
Gorgeous. Today's episode is also, as always, brought to you by Manscaped.
Beloved.
Listen, if you listen to hardcore and punk, you probably stink a little bit.
Yes.
It's a given.
Yes.
Manscaped is here to change that once and for all.
Do you have body hair? Do you want to trim that body hair? Do you want to make your body hair less unsightly?
And a little less stinky? Because Manscaped is basically all you got in terms of that world. It's all you need.
It's all you need.
You got a lawn, it's got to be mowed. You got to escape, it's got to be manned. Your balls will thank you, withdrawals will thank you.
Wow.
We're coining terms every week here.
Yeah. Yeah. You got weeds. They need to be whacked.
They need to be whacked, man. And with code HardLore, you get 20% off and free shipping of the coolest stuff out there.
Oh,
for
my.
The stinky person.
Unbelievable.
Back to the episode.
I got some shots out of a cannon for Will.
Oh,
Do
shit.
you?
Okay.
Yeah, I got some.
Shoot him.
What are your top 3 favorite guitar heads to record with?
Top 3 guitar
Top
heads.
3.
I like a classic 5152. That's
Oh.
kind of my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I like my Friedman JJ 100, which is a pretty cool Marshall on steroids kind of amp.
Right.
And then number 3, I don't know. Those are probably my two favorite by
Are
a
you
lot.
still,
and then it'll kind of depend, you know.
Are you still sweet on the Archon?
Yeah, he gets some love. I've been touring with that actually, and I like playing out of it. We'll go PRS for number 3. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Are you a solid state man live?
No, I'm a amp guy live. I'm running 2 heads into 2 6x12 cabs like a psycho, and I love it. Yeah.
Power. It's raw
How
power.
did the ETID guys feel about that? I feel like they were the ones that put everybody on to the DI solid state heads.
No, Jordan's a Marshall guy. He just runs two 800s into 2 Marshall cabs. Him and his dad built this fucking weird ass Marshall cab. Yeah, our stage looks like a garage sale of amps and cabs. It's awesome. Yeah.
When we toured with them in 2017, the best live guitar tone I ever heard was they each had a Marshall going through powering a cab. Jordan had another Marshall going into like one of those red box DI splitter things.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Andy used an Archon to do the same thing. And front of house would blend the cab with the DI mix.
That's cool. We did a similar thing this summer with the rigs. They were pulling some lines. I think we did some UK shows like that. But lately we've been just rocking 2 amps each. It's been awesome.
Is that what you do for Better Lovers too?
Yeah, that's the Better Lovers rig.
That's
The
the
N
Better
rig
Lovers
is the N rig we were using. We're both using 5150s.
Okay. When I saw you, I didn't get a chance to actually see any of you guys, but I came and watched you guys play at the Salt Shed here in Chicago. Was that Under Oath?
Yeah, that was the summer. That's right.
That was that one. You guys sounded great. So that would have been
Thank
that
you.
rig. So that adds up.
Yeah, that was like our
That's a-
5th show ever, maybe, or something
Yeah.
like that too. We were pretty green on the band now, so I'm looking. You got to see it next year. It's better now.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Oh wow, Better Lovers Better Now. New album.
It's
coming
better lovers. Yeah.
soon. Were you a big ETID guy before working with them?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the band. I like many versions of ETID, you know, from when they first started to where they are now. So it was cool to hop into that timeline for sure.
Is the writing more collaborative now? Are you in the mix big time as a writer?
Yeah, we have a lot of it kind of works like and similar with me and Jordan because we both crank songs out. So like he'll do a few, I'll do a few, we'll do a bunch together. We're about to start recording new material.
Wow.
And we're just all we're gonna get in a room and do it. Like
Cool.
Because I've done so much writing for projects just in a computer by myself. It's pretty rare. It's weird. It's like I haven't had a band experience.
Dude,
like
same.
I was even telling them. I'm like, dude, I don't even remember the last time I fucking sat in a room with all my dudes and our shit and just wrote a song on the floor like that.
Same. And it's like, damn, you forget that that's just you're supposed to do it that way. It's conducive to making good art.
Yeah, I mean, I like my tools. Like, I like being able to isolate and get ideas out with a laptop or at the studio or whatever. But it's like there's the other side of that too. Like, cool shit can happen in a room with people.
Nothing beats a fella just playing some drums.
Yep.
And then you start riffing over that, and then they do a cool drum thing, and you go, I'm going to do a guitar thing with that cool drum thing.
Yeah. Dude, I actually think there's nothing better than when a riff is kind of figured out and then the drum part completes it.
Yeah, dude.
When the drummer figures out,
nice.
Oh, what if we do it this way? And you just go, oh, that's such a good feeling.
How good is a good drummer? Where it's just like...
It's the most important thing.
You finished it for me. Thank you. Yeah, it's good now. It was boring when I thought of it, and now it's good.
it all hangs on that being the case.
Yeah.
I think I've taken Chris for granted. I've only ever been in bands with Chris as the drummer. And I think he's a very good drummer, and I've taken that for granted so much,
Yeah, Chris is awesome. It's very telling when you work because I've seen the best and the worst. It's very telling when you get used to a good drummer and then a bad drummer shows up and it's like, oh fuck, everything's worse and it's your fault.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it should be the foundation of the band.
Yeah,
the drummer being pretty good, and that's why.
Other than a vocalist, it's number two for me of why it's sick. It's definitely a good drummer is a gem.
Yeah,
that's why
they're so hard to find.
Every drummer's in
too.
4 to 5 bands.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yep.
You asked some best drummer to work with. Who would you say is the most impressive guitar player you've ever worked with?
Most impressive guitar player. That's tough. Actually,
there's a lot of them.
I don't know. Everyone's got there's dudes who have different skill sets.
Of course.
So it's hard to fit. It's kind of hard to pin one.
Hit me riffer. Hit me with a riffer, and then hit me with the noodler. So give me the noodle, carb heavy, and then the keto,
of the year.
The keto. Yeah.
Shreddler of the year.
Shreddler of the year.
Sean from The Artist Murder is a big riff daddy. He's got a really good picking hand. And it's some speed on that a lot of people don't. He's definitely up there for me.
Okay.
I'm a big fan. I like and then there's I don't know, other people have. There's a lot of different layers to guitarists that make them cool. I like John from this band Northlane that I work with for sort of the out of the box creative stuff that he does with guitar. Mm-hmm. Nick from Night Versus, another band. Everyone should check out Night Versus if you haven't.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
It's not a hardcore band, but it's a very talented band. He's got some tricks that no one does, where it's shreddy, but it's cool. You still like it. And I don't know. I don't do a lot of wanky guitar guys. Not a lot of solo shredders. Shout out to Buzz from Unearth. He's a really good player.
Dude, Buzz is awesome. And he's a hell of a bags player too. On Warped Tour, he would him and Ken would just send people home. They were so good.
Buzz can rip a lick. He's got a few in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's all these are the things that only you get to witness so often.
Yeah. I mean, you get to witness too. We all get to see these bands. Yeah.
That's true.
You can tell. I mean, that's part of one thing that I'm now is almost mandatory if I'm going to work with a band is I got to actually see the band play or at least get a video or something. I've been tricked by that in the past before, but it's when you see a band if they're the fucking shit or not.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a live show can be very revealing in this world, and I feel take a lot of I think it weighs a lot of me too if I'm gonna work with a band.
I think in this visual age we're in, that's half the battle.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. To be honest with you,
Agreed.
I suppose it's a good thing, but there's so many times I've read stuff like even about my band, or I've felt that way about other bands that I've grown to be a fan with. It's like I didn't get it, and then I saw them live, and it was like, oh, okay, now I got it.
yeah. There's definitely been. I've definitely been not so hot on a band, then seen them live and been like, okay, I understand this now. This is now I get it. You know, and I think the other way too. Or I've loved a band, went to see them live, and I was like, oh fuck, that band sucks. Like maybe I don't like this band. Maybe I like that producer. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, but before I work with a band, I get a gauge of how hard my job's about to become if I can see it first.
That's good. That's research.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Little
job.
market
I like that.
research.
Smart.
You know.
Speaking of Will Putney, the guitar player, we have a question we like to ask all of our guests.
Okay.
The question is, who do you do? Meaning, let's say, me as a guitar player, I do Eddie Van Halen. You know, I do fucking Doyle.
Okay.
Who does
Yeah.
Will Putney do? Who's the guy where you were like, this guy, I'm gonna try to implement some of this, and not just like visually, but just your vibe. Who are you subconsciously pulling from?
I'm subconsciously pulling from the brothers in At the Gates all the time, probably.
Fuck
when
yeah.
I'm in a
Sick.
fit. I'm a little Kurt Ballou fanboy.
Of course.
So
Who
I
isn't?
like what would Kurt do here? That creeps in every once in a while. You know, shout out to Kurt. Love
Yep.
Kurt.
He's the best.
I used to pull more from like I kind of like the Russian Circles guitarist. I get a lot of inspiration from him. Cool chord progressions. Love the tappy stuff. I do pull some tricks from.
Are they from here? I
Canada.
feel like
You got
I've
tricks.
seen him bopping around.
Yeah.
think
But
they're from Chicago.
Swedish, classic Swedish mellow death bands.
Yeah.
In Flames, Haunted, Soilwork.
So you're a
Those are
Gothenburg
like-
man over a Stockholm
I'm
man.
a Gothenburg man. Those are my early riff daddies
gotcha.
when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then if I'm
I'm
looking
a
for a good
Stockholm
fight
man
riff,
because they go
yeah.
7-6, 3-2. That's it.
yeah,
I
there
like
it is.
7-6, 3-2.
All right, I like 7-8-4-1. But
I love
Yeah,
7-8, dude.
Yeah, right.
bro, you fuck with 7-8.
I love 7-8. 2-1 on the A, and then 3-2 on the E.
That's good
That's
stuff.
Stockholm, baby.
You know what's a confusing at the gates part is like a lot of the riffs are pretty complicated. I think it's what's the first song? Is it Blinded by Fear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part that's dun, 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 dun. I always
Yeah, it's
thought
fucking fast.
I always thought it was triplets. Is it
not?
I thought it's not. It's just down straight picking.
Oh, that's hard. That's even harder.
Love that.
It is even harder.
Yeah. We did
The
we did a
triplets don't
cover.
add anything there other than technicality. It doesn't
and
wouldn't
the
make it
chance
sound
for
doper.
something to it can like
Yeah.
fuck up
We did-
or something. Yeah.
We did a cover of Under a Serpent Sun this year. The Fit did for a split with Thy Art and Malevolence, so we had to like digest that song, and it was fun. Just would kind of break down the riffs, threw a metal zone up, just to give it
Yeah.
all its glory.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but it was like fuck. There's little nuggets of good like masterclass shit hidden
Yes.
in some of those songs.
Big time.
100%.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
who is it in the band that's like a big time pop writer?
In At the Gates?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Somebody in there is writing for Britney Spears or some shit.
What?
No
Really?
shit. No.
I swear
Can't
to God.
be.
Hang on.
I don't know.
Let's do. I can live research.
Yeah.
The
Tumbo was the guy who
Britney Spears.
was like super cool to us. Talked to us a lot. Very cool. They're a very cool band. I respect that band very much.
They are cool. I have a few guys where collectively we're like, we punish people. Like, you know, you're in a band, you get punished by fans and stuff. We want to be punishers every once in a while, and they're the band for us. So if I see that singer out or something, I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to him. I'm gonna go fucking bother him. Like, I'm gonna do the thing that happens. And
Check
so
this
we
out,
just
dude.
we lay
What do you
into
got?
him.
Thomas
But they
Lindberg.
take it. Yeah,
Thomas Lindberg.
is a
Bass.
pop singer.
Celine Dion. Salem, Britney Spears.
What?
Lisa Nielsen, Britney Spears again. Nirvana and the liner notes, Misery Index vocals. Magnus Carlsen.
Wait, this has to be 2 different Tomas Lindbergs.
No, it's him, dude. I swear. Check his wiki.
Wow.
That can't be.
He's out here grinding on Britney Spears,
dude.
bro.
I need a confirmation on this.
Send a text.
This is crazy.
Tumba.
Send a live text to Thomas Lindberg. Yo, Tommy.
Big Tommy.
You know
L.
Britney?
The summer of your fears.
Because I'm pretty sure a Swedish guy is like the guy in pop.
Yeah. But isn't that what's that guy's name?
Thomas Lindberg wiki. I'm gonna look him up. Thomas.
I'm looking at his wiki. It doesn't say anything about.
Don't shut the fuck up.
Nah, man, I don't think so.
It's got to be a different Thomas Lindberg.
All right,
Celine Dion, dude.
100%.
All right, I want to believe you, but
Britney. He must have taken it off himself. He don't want that out there. That's
yeah.
Son of a
Thomas, I'm my bad for exposing you, brother.
If this was me making this claim, I'd be roasted.
No, there's no roasting. It's him. You'll see.
All right, we'll see.
Wikipedia, anybody can edit that thing. That's the whole. That's the benefit.
Yeah. Wikipedia said it was real. So.
It's the donors.
In addition to being,
they want them donations so bad, but they don't know that they took Britney Spears off Thomas Lindberg's page, and therefore I won't be given a cent.
Yeah, not getting that $2 now.
Well, in addition to being a prolific producer-songwriter, he was a really nice guy. So,
good.
They are very
kudos
nice
to him.
Yeah, shout out to At the Gates.
Good, very good. Let's talk eating. Will,
he's special.
You're vegan.
I am vegan. Yeah.
Now being vegan on tour is relatively easy.
Yeah, it's fucking kind of awesome actually. It's fun. I kind of tour to eat. You know, it's like almost as cool, maybe cooler than the actual show part sometimes. So,
welcome to our show.
Welcome to HardLore.
Like to get to a city. I like to see where the spots are. You know, I'm a big eater. I'm not a party guy, so I take it out of my stomach. You know, and I'm a big eater, and it's been a great year of food all over the world. You know?
What's some big meals this year you've had?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Thai guy, so we actually went to Thailand, and that was, I think we were there for 2 days. I'd say about 48 hours on the ground. I would have had 7 to 8 noodle dishes while I was there. I mean, we fucking got it in. We did Japan too, and we ate. There was a 24-hour dumpling place in Tokyo that we ate out of fucking vegan dumplings. Yep,
that's
They're like,
crazy.
We got them as many as you want, and then we were there for a couple of days, and by the end, I was like, 40, the veggie dumplings, and he goes, 20. I go, nope, 40. He goes, 20. I'm like, brother, 40.
Trust
He's like, 20 left. He was just defeated. We won.
20 left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was some good eating. The Asian culinary masterclass that is Japan is fucking awesome.
I bet the three of us would agree that New York, New Jersey have some of the collective best food available in the country.
Yeah,
what are some spots that you love in that area? What are your spots? Your go-to
vegan spots? There's the best vegan restaurant I've eaten at. It's a place ABCV in New York. It's pretty bitchy, pretty expensive meal, but head chef's actually a hardcore guy.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Met him at a show, and he's like, "You should come to my restaurant." I'm like, okay, cool. And we go, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is the best meal I've ever had." He's like, "Yeah, I'd love to stay tonight, but I'm going to Martha's Vineyards to cook for Martha Stewart. So have a good show." And I was just like, "What?"
So it is her vineyard.
Yeah. So
I knew it.
It's but ABCV is that's the best meal I've had all year. So
wow.
Shout out to fucking that spot for sure. And then best vegan pizza is this place, Pauly D's. If you frequent the Monarch in Brooklyn or St. Vitus, you're only like a 10-minute drive away. I know
cool.
Justin from Casket could probably vouch for that place too. But he brought me a slice at we usually get Screamers, which is also a good spot. But he's a Food Quest guy, so he brought both pizzas.
He's the OG.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I got you this, and I got you this too," and I'm like, "Cool." And then I'm eating one, and I'm like, What's this? This is something. This is another level." So that's Paulie G's for pizza, and then I like Peace Food. That's a good spot. I got all the vegan spots. You just yeah. Peace Foods. It's just 2 in New York now, and it's just like they make their own. They make a steak out of mushrooms. That's pretty fucking wild. They do some pretty gnarly stuff.
Will, are you a coffee guy?
I would say I'm a big coffee guy.
You suck down a cup every now and then?
I've been known to suck. I'm a 2 a day guy.
I love that.
Yeah,
I like 2. that.
2 is when I'm going to bed after 2, I'm like, why am I so tired?
Yeah,
and then I realized I didn't have my third.
I used to be like, let's just have a pot and fucking going all day. But now I make them bitchier, and I just kind of I'm just one of those guys now.
Funny.
What are your
beans?
just fancier. I do the pour over. I get the good stuff. You know.
When you go out,
the filter. Yeah, I get.
Yeah, the whole every gimmick you could throw at it. Yeah, I'm in on all of it.
When you go out for a cup, where are you going? What are some coffee spots that you like? What's the snobbiest?
In Jersey, my favorite coffee is this place, Mod Cup. It's in Jersey City. We order beans from them. You might have had those beans at the studio.
Probably did.
They're a regular. That's a good cup of coffee. I'm big into Onyx. It's a good roastery.
Onyx.
Sweet Bloom in Colorado is pretty fucking nice.
Onyx? Yeah. They got coffee now?
Yeah. Onyx, I think it's hardcore adjacent. They just did
It is.
They did like a Walrus Audio collab. There's some shit there.
I was just joking. That's awesome.
No, there's something going on there. There's a skull on a fucking logo and stuff. Like they're halfway there.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
On my way.
You had the McPlant yet?
I'm not a McDonald's guy.
Fair
I just
enough.
fucking write it off. So
fuck.
Yeah. I know I know we were doing good. You know, we were like, we got a lot in common, but
we're doing all right. Because something I do want to talk about is the Gaza benefit stuff that you did. I thought that was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was fucking pretty easy to get a little money raised without too much effort. So
I love that.
Thank you to all the people that that actually made the donations and stuff. We I don't know what the total was, but I mean it's fucking thousands of dollars. It did a lot of mastering for that.
And you're offering your time, that's
which is thousands of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it was one of those things where it's like I always get asked to do stuff cheaper than I normally quote, so it was like cool. There's an opportunity for people to get some work done cheap and raise money. It kind of is a win for everybody.
For the best cause in the world right now.
Yeah. Sometimes it just works out for everybody. And then you get some refugees, some supplies. And
Beautiful.
I can get yelled at in my DMs. Are you fucking what? You don't like the okay. Yeah. But it was an easy one. I don't mind doing stuff like that, you know.
Beautiful. Well done. I loved that.
Thank you.
Made me feel
happy
good.
Happy to help.
You told me about the ghosts. You told me about who you do.
You believe in aliens, Will?
I do. I don't know what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're us. We're like some version of people that are gonna. I just think it's got to be out. The odds are. You know, I'm a man of science. So
Yeah,
sure.
Something's out there.
They're green or gray or something. There's no
something fucking weird.
They're just
They're
like
not
it's not gonna be. We're not gonna fucking have a conversation with it. You know, it's just gonna be some other thing. But it's there. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
We got to get them in a band. You know.
What's your favorite alien movie?
Movie?
Just like a movie about aliens. Because I'm a sucker for a good alien movie.
Arrival.
Dude, I was gonna say Arrival. Look at that.
Just think in terms of sheer rewatchability.
Yeah, I love it. I love the fucking language thing. I love the fucking they're trying to help us because we're fucking humanity sucks. Like it's got all the layers.
Is so beautiful. It's like the most human message. It's like if you knew it was all going to go to shit, would you do it anyway? Just to enjoy the good times. It's beautiful.
I really like Contact. I think Contact's awesome.
Too. Yep.
Contact's awesome.
Contact has, as a studio guy, has one of my favorite like studio blunder in a movie.
Oh, please
gimmicks.
do tell. Do tell.
There's a scene where Jodie Foster's like talking to the aliens, like they got the radio shit, and she's got a lexicon reverb, which is like a thing you would put on drums or vocals.
Wow.
And she's like turning the dial to like hear the aliens coming through, and it's
But they just liked the graphics.
Some fucking prop guy needs to get fired. Yeah, it's just, it's a classic fucking studio blunder in a movie.
But that's that's like only an audio guy would notice.
Yeah,
that.
it's just me, you know. Yeah.
But isn't it funny, like movies when there's a guitar player, like Now I Lose My Mind, or like a drummer, I'll lose my mind if it doesn't look realistic. And now like other thing, like just as you get into hobbies, you'll like look at something and it kind of takes you out of the movie,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, definitely took me out. I was like, the lady's turning reverb up. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Blam.
That's why I didn't like that movie Green Room. I liked overall. I thought it was fine, but the integration with hardcore music and playing at the Nazi bar
would just not happen.
You're canceled right away. You're done, dude. They played at a Nazi bar. It's so over, you know. And then when they play at the Nazi bar, they cover Nazi Punk's Fuck Off, which, like, if you're going to play at the Nazi bar, I get it. But then they go to the next song and all the Nazis are moshing?
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah.
You
They're
won
like,
them
let's
over
just
with,
keep it going.
With one non-anti-Nazi song, you won the whole Nazi crowd?
Dude,
they don't
music's
want to mosh that bad.
Music is a weapon, dude. It's a powerful tool. It can change minds,
the band,
dude.
the like death metal band that plays before them at the show is kind of sick, though.
Yeah, it's like probably some straight up awesome band. It's probably fucking Incantation or something.
It's like some real death metal band, and who are
it was Disma. They told Disma, "Hey, do you want to play a Nazi band?" They're like, "Yes."
Yesterday,
yes,
I discovered yesterday that McGroder Grind is on Veep, the HBO show, playing in a bar.
Really?
Yeah, playing at I think it's the Auto Bar too. It looks like the Auto Bar, but I'm like,
awesome.
Veep's just on. And it's like some scene where like these fucking two guys go to one of the like president's aides likes to go to these like noise shows.
Yeah.
And then they go and I'm like, I hear like 3 seconds of music come through and I'm like, okay, that was a real band. That wasn't just like, I was like, that was a legitimate blast beat with the like ride action and shit. I'm like, I gotta find out who that was. Then I look it up, and they were like on Veep playing in a bar. I was like, look at that.
I was just talking about the extended Ace Ventura scenes where he sings for Cannibal Corpse last night.
Oh, dude,
the
Also
like
very
TV
sick.
only version is like unbelievable.
I like how pure that is. I like that was
is.
just Jim Carrey being like, I just fucking love Cannibal Corpse, so they're gonna be in this movie.
Yeah.
which is like, I wish. Where is that now? You know.
Yeah, put some bands on, you know?
On the very last day of our tour with Cannibal Corpse, Alex Webster was hanging out in our room. I think we had played and he was just kind of warming up. So Hate Eternal must have been playing. And we were just talking and I hit him with hey man, sorry. I know you've been asked this 1,000 times, but like, was Jim Carrey cool? And he was like, dude, he was the nicest guy I've ever met.
Wow.
It's awesome.
He was just like really welcoming, took care of us, super nice. And it was a lot of fun. It's just like, fuck yes, that's the best.
That's incredible.
I feel like I'd be cool if I was on that level. You kind of won life.
Yeah.
You like,
right.
I don't know, people who are like that successful and famous that are dickheads. I'll just never understand it. It's like,
I know, because every single decision you can make a decision every day to make someone else more successable. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
You have the power to just constantly make people's lives. So it's like being a dick on that level, you suck. Extra bad.
You're an inherent dick. You're the biggest dick I've ever seen. So Jim Carrey, if you're watching, thanks for
thank you.
being cool.
Hell of a year, 1994.
Good job, Jim. Well, we're winding down now. Will, this was a blast, really.
Thanks, man. This was fun. Appreciate you guys. I'm a fan of the show. I'm a fan of the bands,
Oh, thank you.
I'm a fan of your love for E-Town Concrete. So.
I'm on here every day. Jersey won't be disgraced.
I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Knocked Loose and working with Knocked Loose.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Big time.
They're dear friends of the show. Dear friends,
of course.
In my own heart.
Knocked Loose. I I got put onto them on their demo or like the 2-song thing that they had with All My Friends, whatever that was. Forgot what that was at this point. But I remember just hearing it and be like, this band's cool. And then they played, what was it, Mixtape Fest? Was that the Long Island festival?
Sounds
I remember
real.
the name. Yeah.
It was like some short-lived fest. I don't know if it happens anymore, but I remember there was like a day where like E-Tid and Stray and they were playing, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the show and I want to see what this band's all about. And then I remember leaving, being like, I fucking have to work with this band. At the time, they were like starting to like get some heat a little bit, but it was like pretty off under the radar still. But I was like, we got to figure out just a way did it, just a way to get them here. And I remember like actually it's been at that point it had been a while since I like went after a band, you know.
Oh, cool.
And I remember talking to them being like, yo, I really want to do this record, and I kind of see where this is headed, and I see what the influences are, and yeah, it was awesome. I just fucking love those guys. They were like they're the right band to kind of carry the torch for that stuff, for this kind of side of the world of extreme music, because they're real dudes. They put on bands like in the scene. They like it's like the Good Guys won, you know.
Jim Carrey.
It's one of those.
It's a real Jim Carrey situation.
It's a real Jim Carrey situation. Yeah, because it's like I mean, there's even like 10 minutes into talking to them, it's like these kids are so nice. They're gonna fucking, you know, if they could put the pieces together on this and that, this is just gonna be a thing. And I think, you know, a lot of their success is just like everybody wants to see them win too, because they've done so much solid shit for people, and yeah, they're great.
What all did you record with them?
We did laugh tracks and what was that? That would have been 2017 maybe? Was that? I don't even know, man. It's all a blur now. When was laugh tracks? Let's have a peek.
I think was it before us?
2016. It would have been before you, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
It came out in 2016, so maybe 2015 we would have recorded that or something.
Interesting.
I did not know that. And then you did.
It just went, you know.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I've been lucky to be a part of that trajectory with those guys for a while now.
That's awesome. Yeah, their
that
excitement.
work you did with them lives forever, and I would say definitely cemented you as the guy for any band trying to do anything like that.
Yeah, I got hit up by a lot of knock loose bands after that, that was kind of back to what I was saying before, where I was like, man, I want to give it to them, you know?
Yeah.
And it is like a blessing and a curse when you make a record that reacts, you know, or a band that pops like that. Is like the copycats show up pretty quickly, you know?
Big time.
And it's, I try to kind of reserve my energy for the right projects like that, you know, and steer clear some of that. But, you know, I'm happy that they got young kids into a style of music that was, you know, they like kind of brought back what I enjoyed about going to shows and stuff as a kid, and seeing the scale of it now. It's like, fuck, they might be like the biggest hardcore band ever. You know?
Yeah, they're definitely on their way there. And you're right. Their excitement and like enthusiasm towards everything that they're doing is the coolest part.
And their knowledge, they check out fucking everything.
Every band.
Yeah, that was what really grabbed me. I was like, man, we're talking about like fucking Prayer for Cleansing. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, how do you know this? Like, you weren't even alive. Like, how do you know, they would blow my mind a lot with like the encyclopedia of knowledge they had too on where shit came from.
Right.
And I think
Really
that
cool.
translates, I think that's why their music is believable and real and stuff. It's like actually rooted in the right lineage of stuff. It's not just like
intention and ethos.
You know,
is
you know
everything.
how it is.
Yeah,
It's all it is. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
straight up, dude. Now, if you tomorrow a band hits you up, a band you never worked with, to be like, Will, we want you to do this. What would you be most excited to make? What kind of record would you be most excited to make as a producer engineer? Like, are you dying to do some fucking indie pop music as a for a change, or do you like staying in the has breakdowns realm?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm dying, but I just like bands that are good, man. It's easy. It doesn't have to be a specific genre or anything. You know, I've done some stuff. You know, I did some stuff with like 4 Year Strong this year, which is like a pop punk band,
stuff,
if you would
Sure.
call it that.
Yeah.
But there's like really poppy songs that we've worked on that are awesome. I had a blast, as fun as the heaviest record I made all year. You know, and then did some music with that band Northland. It's like a completely electronic song, more, you know, and it's like, so I don't care. You know, if the band's good, I'm interested in stuff that's just exciting, because there's anything that has its own sort of lane that I could relate to.
Yeah.
Musically, thematically, you know, lyrically, whatever it is. If I can find a connection to it and the band's good, I'm stoked on it. So
That's a perfect answer. That's what
I'm
you want to hear.
Yeah, I don't really have like a, you know, there's not one path for me, I don't think, for producing records in the near future.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful sentiment.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, Will, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it, guys. This was a blast. Happy to
Had a
see
gr-
this. Happy to see the HardLore grow, man. Every
Thanks.
time
Thank you.
there's
brother.
been countless bands at the studio who have you guys on in the background while we're tracking. So
This
You
is
get
for
some
you
play- you
boys.
get some play here.
girls.
Now they
everybody.
get to watch this one. Imagine that.
yeah, now when they come like, you go and watch my episode,
Yeah.
and you're gonna fucking listen.
That's right.
Get
They're
some
going to hear that
pointers,
last
you
bit
know?
and be like, okay, guys, we got to be good because that's what he likes.
Yeah, it's not really that hard. It doesn't sound
No.
that hard, right?
Just rock.
Don't
You know?
don't suck. Yeah,
Just rock.
I don't know.
Just rock.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
it's hard for
Beautiful.
some people.
I love it.
Not you guys. You guys are good. You know.
Well, you know, there were bumps in the road to rocking.
Yeah.
Eventually,
what
the
it is.
plan is eventually rock. So
Yeah.
Will help you eventually rock.
Yeah, I do think everybody sucks for a long time.
Yeah.
So that
You
is the
have
thing
to.
too. I don't know how
You have
long.
to.
I mean, I think I'm fine now, but I definitely sucked for a while. You know, I wouldn't. Yeah. I
The
think.
choir. Keep preaching.
Yeah. So if you suck, it's okay because everybody
Sucking
sucks.
is temporary.
Yeah.
Rocking
Yeah.
is forever once you figure
Wow.
it out. But, you know, Metallica, if you're listening, you don't have to do the song twice. Do a nice
Yeah.
bridge. Change it up. Call Will Putney.
Call me. I got a nice bridge idea for
He's
you.
got good bridges. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Will. Thank you all for listening. We will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, boys.
Bye.